Nigeria, welcome to Newsline. I am Becky Maruchemo. Now, have you observed lately that many Nigerians cannot speak a word in their local dialect? We will examine the consequences and the possibilities, if any, of getting people to learn how to communicate in their mother tongue. And here's a word you probably have never heard: pangolin. Pangolin sounds like a musical instrument, doesn't it? We'll just have to see what it really is, won't we? Something else we intend to reintroduce to you is not totally new, as you may have spotted it on the periodic table in chemistry class. I'm talking about mercury. That chemical may just be in your life, and we intend to locate its presence soon enough. Meanwhile, 43 Nigerians landed in Lagos from Europe a few days ago. They were not smiling at all. We caught them on arrival, and they talked to our crew about how they ended up together as a sad, angry group. I just gave you a tip of the iceberg. Hold on for more, which comes right after the news by Nancy Gadi Anenuwu. Happy Sunday, Nancy.
Wish you same, Becky. Welcome to the news. Governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, says there is no vacuum in government as President Buhari complied with the provision of the Constitution by communicating to the National Assembly his vacation and transmitting power to the Vice President. This was at a special prayer session held in Katsina. Garba Mohammed Nata'ala reports.
It was one in a series of special prayers for the speedy recovery of President Muhammad Buhari held in Katsina State. Several Islamic scholars took turns to speak on the importance of fervent prayers and need to sustain it for those in authority, but especially for President Buhari, who is recuperating outside the country.
He says if the rivers are all right, then the entire country will be all right.
The Islamic scholars urge Nigerians to continue to uphold the president in prayers, more so that he had devoted his time and life to restore the nation to its pride of place. For his part, Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari clarified that there was no vacuum in government, as President Buhari duly complied with the provisions of the Constitution before his departure.
President Muhammad Buhari has complied with the extant rules of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which says if the president is going on leave or if he is sick, he should communicate same to the National Assembly. By that communication, the vice president becomes acting president with full powers. There is no vacuum in leadership of Nigeria today, because the vice president is acting president with full powers.
The special prayers was attended by traditional leaders, government functionaries, and people from neighboring states. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NT News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has placed a telephone call from London to the Emir of Katsina, Alhaji Abdulmimini Usman, over the death of his mother, which occurred on Saturday. A statement by the Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the President, Femi Adesina, says President Buhari condoled with the traditional ruler, urging him to take solace in the fact that Hajiya Aminatu lived a good life devoted to serving Allah and humanity. Nigerians have been implored to be fervent in prayers for the nation's leadership and harmony. Clerics at an interreligious prayer session
for peace and economic prosperity of Nigeria in Ibadan. Adebola Ogunlanu, NTA News.
Clerics say God is about to set the nation on a path of recovery and industrialization to enable it to achieve greatness. This was at the inauguration and the inaugural service of the Revival House of Glory International Church in Abuja. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
Raising one of the voices that will create a kingdom for God and bring about the rise of youths and redemption in the country.
From today, the fountains of life will flow from your spirit.
Kure, taking his text from the book of Psalms, said, Goodheart Ekweme has been released from his last phase into a new phase to serve God and men all the days of his life.
Goodheart Obi Ekweme is one of those new voices that will symbolize the rise of youth in this nation to bring redemption for this nation. Revival is simply an awakening, but reformation comes after a revival. It is the rebuild.
We see to be the beginning of better days, and beyond that, the anointing, the unction, and the great grace God has released upon our lives to see this work go to the next level. We're more than pleased.
Prayers were offered for the peace, stability, and prosperity of the nation. In Abuja, Ifani Ezumba, NT News.
Fighting terrorism requires not only sending troops to the battlefield, but also inculcating the true teachings of the noble Quran and traditions of Prophet Muhammad in the citizens. This formed the thrust of discussions at the presentation of prizes to the representatives of the Federal Capital Quran recitation competition. Aliyu Tukuru has more.
The competition, which commenced from the 3rd to 11th of February in Ilorin, Kwara State, was organized by Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, aimed at promoting sound Islamic education and moral consciousness, especially among the youth, in order to address restiveness and radicalism. Presenting the prizes to the winners, representative of the FCT Minister, Honor of Abaji, Alhaji Adamu Baba Yunusa, urged them to put into practice the true teachings of the Quran by exhibiting positive behavior that will contribute to nation building.
Our children have done their best, but they should put more effort in their doing, because we believe that second best is not good enough.
When they go to Ilorin, they met almost all the ethnic groups in Nigeria in that camp. And I think in itself, it has really, cement the social diversity of this country.
You see, the importance of this competition is to train the children from the inception to be good citizens.
The winners speak on their experiences.
It's not easy to participate among many states and come out as a winner.
I'm very happy to be honored among the reciters of the Holy Quran.
The FCT sent 6 representatives to the competition, which was divided into 6 categories. Out of the 6, 3 won 4th positions in the 4th, 5th, and 6th categories. In Abuja, Aliyu Tukur, NTA News.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo congratulates former President and elder statesman Alhaji Shehu Shagari on his 92nd birthday. A press release signed by a senior special assistant to the acting president, Laolu Akonde, stated that the acting president joined his family, well-wishers, and all Nigerians in celebrating former President Shagari's selfless service, leadership, and steadfast commitment to the advancement of Nigeria over the years. The acting president says decades after serving as the Second Republic president, Shagari has continued to advance the unity and prosperity of the nation, adding that the honesty and strength of character with which former President Shagari has been known will continue to be a source of inspiration. Similarly, Senate President Bukola Saraki has extolled the noble virtues of ex-President Shehu Shagari.
With some stop-and-search exercise. Now, this is an accident scene in Katari. Katari is about 80 kilometers away from the city of Kaduna. This truck, we understand, had been here for the past 2 days when this accident occurred. And indeed, it's yet to be lifted. And questions have been asked as to what could happen in the case where the airport operations move from Abuja to Kaduna. And indeed, people have to meet up with time. On arrival in Kaduna, we also observe ongoing work at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Expressway, which is a bypass for motorists heading to Kaduna International Airport.
I think the relocation is going to help boost the Kaduna state, both economically and otherwise, considering the fact that it's going to decentralize the focus into Abuja as a whole.
Honestly, FEMA have done a very wonderful work. In most of the roads, they have done patches. Some places, they have done a very good tarred road. What if the airport is not being transferred there? Does it mean government is not going to do what is right?
In the coming days, these and other arrangements will be put to test as actual flight operations are shut down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to commence at the Kaduna International Airport. From Kaduna, I am Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
The Department of State Services, DSS, says it has recovered and confiscated weapons, 23 luxury designer watches, 45 keys to various exotic cars, and 21 certificates of occupancy, as well as one offer of statutory right of occupancy and the boots of 2 luxury cars. The recovery of the items followed a search warrant executed by the service at a property located on Agui Irunsi Way, Maitama, Abuja. A statement by the service alleges that the items belong to a former governor of Benue State, Gabriel Suswam. Further investigations are said to be ongoing. The DSS, however, warns that the service will no longer tolerate any act of lawlessness by those who ought to be law-abiding and responsible citizens, as it restates commitment to going after anyone, no matter how highly placed, who engages in acts capable of causing the breach of peace in the country. The federal government has reviewed visa processes for foreigners who wish to visit Nigeria for business and tourism purposes, with a view to removing bureaucratic bottlenecks and encourage business travelers and tourists to give the economy a boost. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, in a statement, said the measure is part of the federal government's action plan to ease doing business in Nigeria, as well as efforts to boost tourism within the overall context of the administration's agenda. The statement indicates that the type of visas currently being reviewed include visas on arrival processes, business visas. Details of the review are available on the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, official website. The minister says other actions taken by the Nigeria Immigration Service include harmonization of multiplicity of airport arrival and departure form and cards into a single form for all agencies of government to save visitors the current practice of filling 3 different forms or more, and the decentralization of immigration services to the state commands. Additional 28 offices have been opened for issuance of residence permits in Nigeria, bringing the issuance of combined expatriate residence permits and aliens cards closer to the doorstep of employers of expatriates at all 36 states and the...
The Managing Director and Chief Executive of Federal Mortgage Bank, Mr. Richard Essen, explained that the money for the financing of housing projects in Nigeria is through the mandatory contributory scheme, into which Nigerian workers in the public and private sectors earning a minimum of 3,000 naira per annum contribute 2.5% of their monthly income.
On the basis of their consistent and continuous contributions to the scheme, or the fund, the Nigerian workers automatically become eligible for mortgage loans at a concessional interest rate of 6% per annum, repayable in some instances for upwards of 30 years.
The members of the public is just to key into this NHF, National Housing Fund.
The Kwara State Governor, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, who was represented, applauded the federal government's efforts at providing shelter for its citizens. Dignitaries at the occasion include the Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Sulu Gambari, in Ilorin, Duni Adealao, NTA News.
As different sections of the executive arm of the federal government are now defending the 2017 budget proposals before the National Assembly, new details are emerging on the continuation of the social investment programs of the Buhari administration, including a plan to hire 350,000 more unemployed graduates under the Empower Volunteer Corps. A statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akonde, states that the President Buhari has requested appropriation of 157.75 billion naira in the 2017 budget estimates for the Empower scheme. While urging Nigerians to take advantage of the different schemes this year, Laolu Akonde observed that the Empower is just one of the many social investment programs that have so far drawn the interest and praise of Nigerians across board, adding that a lot more is to come. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has renegotiated its deep offshore rig rates from a staggering $580,000 to $164,000 per day, saving the country 71.7% cost of executing a similar operation in the past. Abdullahi Suleimani Yaji reports that Chief Operating Officer Gas and Power, Seyudu Muhammad, who represented the Group Managing Director, Dr. Mekantu Barrow stated this at the 14th annual Arrett Adams Memorial Lecture. He declared that the various deductions serve as an incentive for investors to grow reserves, increase profitability, and improve return on investment, adding that they also boost government revenue.
Regrade from a staggering $580,000 per day to $164,000 per day. Likewise, regrades per day for both swamp and land operations have also dropped by over 35%.
Chairman of the Arrett Arms Foundation, Mr. Herbert Imomo, said Nigeria should position itself for the future by finding more oil and producing it. This year's Arrett Adams Annual Lecture Series is the 14th, seeking to immortalize the lofty ideals of Chief Godwin Arrett Adams, who was a former GMD of NNPC. He was GMD of NNPC. Now, fire has destroyed a petrol tanker and 3 dispensing machines at Metakat's filling station along Birnin Kudu or Kebbi Road in Sokoto. Shehu Mohammed Dafi reports that though no life was lost, owner of the filling station said he lost property worth over 30 million naira to the inferno.
According to eyewitness, the fire started after 9 in the night while a tanker was trying to offload the fuel. The eyewitness said the pipe supplying the fuel ignited and the driver tried moving the truck for safety but hit the wall, which led to the explosion of the tanker filled with petrol. Even though men of the fire service responded on time, it took them 2 hours to put out the fire.
To our website, www.nta.ng. And now a quick check on the weather forecast for Monday.
We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Your Indomitables pack is now 50 naira only. Nothing tastes like my Indomie. Now 50 naira only for Indomitables pack. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Bonjour. Inakwana.
I can say without equivocation that my glimpse of the facilities, staff and students, as I drove around and chatted with them, this campus leaves me or anyone in no doubt that the setting of this university is superlatively impressive.
with nothing of this kind that I have seen so far in the country or anywhere else.
FEB University, the fastest growing educational institution in Africa. Hello. Welcome to the M6 challenge. Using your new GLE M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test. GLE M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge. GLE M6, always in power.
Your Indomitables pack is now 50 naira only. Nothing tastes like my Indomie. Now 50 naira only for Indomitables pack. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
The Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation announces the commencement of the Quarterly Civil Service Lecture Series. The topic for the inaugural quarter lecture is Federal Civil Service in a Change Environment. Change is now, to be delivered by the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Winifred Ekanem Oyoita. Date, Tuesday, 28 February 2017. Venue, Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. Please note that all guests are to be seated by 9 a.m. prompt. Mr. Innocent Obunaya, Permanent Secretary Career Management Office for the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Announcer.
Thanks for staying on the line. We will start tonight with an issue that is becoming a hard nut to crack. Most Nigerian languages are endangered because, as we all know, they are on the road to extinction. Governments and all Nigerians are aware of this fact.
Probably my language. I can't speak my language that people. So I can't see them right now. Maybe listen all that time.
What can be responsible for people's inability to speak their local languages?
It's urban influence. They want to look like an Englishman or an American.
That's the prejudices we have from the past, as our colonial past. So we are all under that pressure that our children will succeed only if they speak English, and then in trying to do that, we emphasize that over the native tongue.
This respondent says his father places more emphasis on the use of English language because, in his view, it is a sign of literacy.
It's actually the advice me to pronounce words correctly, English words correctly, because I feel like even if most of us can, even like in case we don't complete our education due to some unexpected circumstances, by the way we speak, it will tell that our background was actually good. That means we were from a sound background, educated background.
No, if you can't speak correct English, you are not an illiterate. What is this education? Acquisition of skills, acquisition of wisdom, knowledge, acquisition of a right type of attitude in order for you to live an independent and self-reliant life.
The implications of a situation where people don't visit their hometowns or know how to speak their mother tongue are obvious.
Our culture will die off.
If for Nigerian children to learn to speak their mother tongue.
I had a chat with my producer about children from homes where both parents don't speak same local language. A suggestion is children should learn the local language of the town they live in. I totally agree. We all must learn to speak at least one Nigerian language. Moving on, it was a golden fleece that propelled them to pull down all barriers and cross carpet to foreign lands in Europe, where they perceived the grass was greener. With incomplete or no documentation, they forced their way into another man's land. Having spent several months and longer in these lands, they were rejected by their hosts and forcefully sent back to their fatherland. Humiliated, they tell their tales Abolade Salami interacted with some of them on arrival at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos.
The deportees were a total of 43 in number, all male. They were arrested in 3 European countries. 33 of them were rounded up in Italy, 7 in Germany, and 3 in Belgium, shoved into an Airbus A330 I-Fly aircraft. They were directed straight to Nigeria. The aircraft touched ground at 8:30 in the night of Thursday. And the expression on the faces of the deportees as they fired down the aircraft was one of anger over the humiliation they faced in Europe and the journey to their destination through the land and sea.
Libya, from your entire house. Passed to deserts, spent some weeks, some months in desert. After we have passed all this risk, some died in the sea, some died in the desert.
The Nigerian government make them look after people in the Libya. They are suffering. They are killing them. Only beating is only beating they're beating the dead. It's too much.
We're truly happy to be back home because according to them, they could have made it out there. They wondered what the future would hold for them here.
I just enter as a month and a week. They carry me back to Nigeria. What is it? We need job. We need job. After we have passed out to this place, I come back to this country empty-handed and think he will be happy with anybody. Me, I cannot be happy with anybody.
But going by the physical appearance of some of them, it is obvious that food was not served them in a platter of gold.
Having been deported from another country does not mean the end of life. They've gone there, they've seen that the green pasture they went for is not really green, and they are back. So I expect them to brace up, wake up to the reality that they can be useful to themselves and carry on from there.
After all said, all 43 deportees were screened by the relevant agencies to ascertain their status as Nigerians.
You can see the time that the aircraft is coming in. We'll make sure that they are comfortable and we'll assist them to get to their various communities.
The bottom line in all this is north, south, east or west, there cannot be any place like home.
As tough as your country is today, you're better off here than being in those places. And Mr. President has made it clear that yes, these are tough times, but he's here to ensure that he takes Nigeria from the bottomless pit to the top of the mountain.
Now that they are back, they have no choice but to take advantage of the many opportunities that abound in Nigeria. Best of luck to them. Next up, first responders may not see themselves as heroes, but in reality, they are rescue
divers to enter the water to go and bring out the car. So me and my friends, we just arrange ourselves with our boat and we go into the water.
Olakunle Julius, who resides on a beach far away from where the same accident happened, also rushed to the scene. As a local diver, he knew his swimming skills and local ideas could come handy in saving those involved in the accident.
When I get into the water and find the space to fix the seatbelts so that we can bring out the corpse from the water, and then I found out that it was not easy. It wasn't easy because there's a lot of broken glasses there, so that it can hurt you, as in cut your hands or any part of your body.
It was a long rescue operation, and other local divers around had located the submerged vehicle. Olakunle's efforts, however, was key to the vehicle and victim being brought out.
Try to bring out the car, and the water inside is very dark and it's deep, so we can't make it and go inside. So unfortunately, they're not bringing one driver from Takwabi to come and assist us. So when the guy come around, the guy go into the water and tie the motor tire. You understand? Before they pull up the car.
I couldn't see clearly there, so I needed to find a way to get the torch that will brighten down into the water so I can have a space to get where I would fix up the belt. So that was a challenge I have in there because, number one, we needed to get some equipment that it's well usable for underwater accidentally anytime like that.
Training by relevant agencies could adequately equip local divers and first responders like Olakunle and Solomon to be better organized in procedures targeted at saving disaster victims or recovering bodies and property.
We needed to get at least some divers for this kind of emergency. If you to take anything to, as in sponsor some guys anywhere, training school, let them have divers. It helps this kind of residential accidents.
I was even committing blood in my nose, all my ear, everywhere is blocked. So it's not easy. All I want is that the government should just try and compensate us very well, train us, make us move fronts. We know about the money.
Disaster management experts say there are diverse threats and hazards that citizens face on a daily basis. A well-informed public and trained local volunteers with requisite skills would any day be great emergency response assets.
Some of the divers, local divers, they still need empowerment, training and empowerment by acquisition of skills, which we hope will impact, because we have what we call grassroots emergency management agency. And with this grassroots emergency management, once we identify 1 or 2, 3 challenges, we have to build their capacity. In case if something happened before our arrival, they will have saved life. So this is the major challenge we have found out, and we are going to work with it with Lagos State Emergency Management Agency.
Local divers like Monday Solomon and Olakunle Julius, popularly referred to and hailed by the crowd as AKA #1 Takwabe Beach.
But obviously, it's one of the major places where we need to ensure that facilities are working and that things are being run properly.
The visit meant to inspect the functionality of the facilities at the airport, however, exposed the decay in the system, as seen in this conversation with some of the staff during the inspection.
Yes, I don't have to learn the environment before I go there.
Do you have a mechanism, God is asking, do you have a mechanism in place where a businessman will just learn?
What we are supposed to do is to make it easy for people to know your environment by coming here. That's what we're supposed to do, not to say that somebody should sit in his country and learn about your business environment. What's that? That's not what we expect to do.
Thank you very much. We're working on it. Probably as soon as they come in, we study the situation and grant them. But for the meanwhile, Abuja handles the approvals.
When did this break down?
This one is not, but the last rain was, say about 3 months.
Since that rain is down, why do we have engineers? It's not acceptable at all. It's not acceptable. As an operations manager, as an operations person, you shouldn't. How can, if something doesn't work for 3 whole months, and say, well, it's coming from headquarters, we have to be able to be innovative, creative. We have engineers. That's why engineers cannot make a carousel work. They can't. I know they obviously cannot, unless there's a procurement, unless somebody pays for something, unless there's a contract. So just the simple so once this thing breaks down, we have to go back to the contractor. So if it breaks down for 1 day, it goes back, because he says that it was just water, rainwater, that caused this thing to fail, just rainwater. So once that fails, that's it. You can't make it work.
The question to be asked here is how ready are Nigerian engineers and other professionals in building a new Nigeria, which is expected to be technologically driven.
On to the next. It was at a reception in Sokoto State by the 1977 set of Government Teachers College, Fafaru, that Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris and some other distinguished personalities were honored. For what purpose? Here's Shehu Mohammed Dati with the answer.
The homecoming reception and award presentation was organized by All Boys Association of Government Technical College Porfaru, 1977 chapter. Established in 1958, Government Technical College Porfaru has produced prominent personalities that have contributed to the development of the nation in different ways. One of the products of the college is the present Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, who graduated in 1977. Mahedenge Yarima Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Kindizoro, former principal of the college, Professor Tijani Bande, Dr. Ahmad Muhammad Achida, and Professor Farooq Rashid Haruna Ango were among those honored by the All Boys.
I believe this is the best honor that anybody can obtain in life. This honor is for life. It's not an ordinary honor.
And then they found the two of us here, me and Malan Dengi, worthy to be given this type of recognition.
Globally, in Nigeria, if you are caught further endangering the life of this animal by making it a delicacy or harming it in any way, you will serve a prison term or pay a huge sum of money. We'll tell you about this after the break. Stay on the line.
Beautiful things are happening when the sun goes down, and when the night is darkest, that's the time our light shines bright. It's good to take some time away to put a smile on someone's face. To smile for me, smile for you, smile because you know that happiness is sure. Let your joy be more. So everywhere you go, you can make your laughter loud. You don't have to be fair to make your presence felt. No matter where you are, we can be together in love. Together in love. Together in love. Happiness is sure. Let your joy be more. So everywhere you go, to make your presence felt. No matter where you are, we can be together in love. Together in love. No matter where you go, together in love. No matter where you are, together in love.
See? That's it? F.
C.
But she's academically so good. Could have been better. My grade, fitness F. Emotional well-being E. E?
I want you to play with me only you get tired.
Mom, I want you and the baby to be healthy. Promise. I'll eat healthy foods, okay? I love you.
We will always play together and we will be champions.
Welcome back. He is a colonel in the Nigerian army, though retired. An indigene of Kebbi State is second only to the governor of the state. Now he needs no further introduction. He's on Newsline tonight because we got wind of his creative ingenuity, which, if properly harnessed, will add value to the nation's socio-economic development. Nura Tanko Wakil will explain further.
Alhaji Samaili Mbadabe is a retired military colonel, a pilot, flight instructor and aeronautics engineer, now turned automobile designer. From last year to date, his innovations has turned about 5 vehicles into special editions of their types, with the latest being a Sienna 2005 model turned into limousine, providing the needed comfort.
As you can see, it has met any standard. I dare, challenge even Ford himself to see, or any of the Chinese auto producers to come and challenge any of this thing. The integrity of the airframe, the constructions you see inside, they're all standard.
But the deputy governor is not alone in this, as he employed the services of young Nigerians of Kebbi State origin, who will in turn transfer the knowledge to others for employment generation.
We're not just saying we're doing what we said we're going to do. So we're in a way, fulfilling our promise. As you can see, these are young boys of less than 20 that we put to use to produce what you may call a limousine.
Colonel Bedabe said, in addition to employment generation, Kebbi said government intends to train more youth from across the state to provide the vehicles at affordable rates to buyers. Some members of the construction team expressed satisfaction with the feat, adding that there are young and talented Nigerians who only need a helping hand to excel. The idea here is, whether young or old, highly placed or not, Nigerians should not hesitate in showcasing their talents for socio-economic development of the country.
Wow, that was quite innovative. Let's proceed. Kabasa is a community in the Federal Capital Territory. The speak and span nature of this community is what seems to be attracting attention to it currently. Now, residents are clearing their waste and turning them to wealth in a project that Oinaya Kalu Oka will explain in this report.
Kabusa, meaning divided color. The exercise will be carried out for a year so as to achieve results.
We want to see cleanliness. We want to see a total reorientation of the people. We want people to begin to live healthy and strong.
Sanitation exercise was carried out at every nook and cranny, disposal bags distributed, and refuse dumps cleared.
We are trying to begin to teach Nigerians that this thing you think is waste is money.
Realizing the objective of the slogan, cleanliness everywhere shows godliness, is a dream of the residents of Kabusa.
Kabusa people mean business. Other communities can borrow a leaf. Now, for 6 years, residents of Maiduguri lived in fear following the Boko Haram uprising. This, however, is now history due to the zeal of Nigerian armed forces, whose gallant effort is progressively degrading insurgency in the northeast. This has brought about the relative peace being enjoyed in the state. Naomi Abuaku has this situation reports.
Of Maiduguri have over the years experienced series of insurgency attacks, ranging from gunshots, bombings, assassination, and kidnapping. The lingering security situation, which lasted for over 6 years, greatly affected social and business activities in the state, in addition to untold hardships suffered by citizens. The counterinsurgency operation of the Nigerian armed forces injected new strategy of ending terrorist activities in the region, and the recent recapture of the stronghold of Boko Haram in Sambisa forest.
The operation has progressed so well, and the peace that we now enjoy in the northeast is as a result of the doggedness and the resilience of the troops.
The people in the state expressed joy and gratitude over the relative peace being enjoyed.
The Maiduguri is peaceful now, because what we are hearing before, just as if when you get to Maiduguri, you've just been pumped, but now everywhere is calm. Now that the things is becoming better, so we are not having problem much like before. So we can do our business in good time. Our customers, they used to come, depends on the time they like, and we are always available.
The grace of God, things are almost over.
Others share their past experiences, saying it is now goodbye to those days when they take sleeping pills to go to bed.
There was time that we were in curfew from 2 o'clock, it came to 4 o'clock, up to 7 o'clock, but now we still have more time.
Before, we can't even sit down even in the daytime, but now we can move freely, we can sit down at anywhere, we can go anywhere we wish.
During this insurgency, we couldn't be able to even meet up like this to even discuss that countries, because everybody was even mingling to find where he can even go and hide himself.
During that time, we have problem in the market.
Market transactions during the crisis was done in fear. Thank God it's now over.
Moving on, according to the law, if anyone in Nigeria is caught killing this animal or eating it, is liable to pay 1 million naira fine or spend 10 years in prison. This is how serious it is to do anything that would add to the extinction of this animal that is already endangered. As a matter of fact, a day has been set aside annually for awareness about this animal by the United Nations. It is based on this that Shola Wahid.
You are going to be fined 1 million naira, number one, or you are going to be in prison for 10 years. If you don't
protect them and you are just killing them irrationally now, a time will come when you will not have them again.
The theme for this year is Speak Up for Pangolin.
Just like the sea turtle do not eat a pangolin, we have many other options for meat, okay? With a theme From Glory to Glory, the 14th Biennial Conference of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, brought to the fore the need for the church to unite and contribute in all spheres of national development. Newsline has excerpts from this first ever non-delegates conference of the PFN. Let's see it.
It was a convocation of Pentecostal churches of Nigeria under the aegis of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, to take a look at issues that will promote the growth of Christianity and the spread of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Acting President Yomo Shibajo graced the occasion with a message on the need for religious tolerance.
Commanded to all, without exception, is to preach the love of Jesus Christ. Many times, when we preach that love of Jesus Christ, people will spit at us, people will hurt us. Many will die even doing this. But this is the burden of our faith.
The national president of PFN, Reverend Felix Omobude, in his address of welcome, said the PFN remains a catalyst that has contributed immensely to the speedy growth of Pentecostalism in Nigeria.
Pentecostals are firmly at the forefront of preaching the gospel, doing great exploits in the name of Jesus Christ, and asserting the place of the church in our nation.
The many social scourges that we face as a society can be eliminated if we express our faith responsibly.
Prominent Pentecostal church leaders participated in the 3-day conference and took turn to minister, offer prayers, and make prophetic declarations for religious tolerance, peace, unity, and progress of Nigeria. High point of the conference was the impartation on the youth wing, with prominent church leaders speaking on the need for the Christian youth to be the beacon of hope that will continue to drive the growth of Christianity and the spread of the gospel of Jesus Christ. The new executive led by Dr. Felix Omobude, who was re-elected national president, and Bishop Kure as secretary, was inaugurated.
It shall be well with Nigeria.
Up ahead is a health issue worth discussing. We shall open a health diary when Newsline returns from this break. Stay on the line.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria would have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
You two need to clean up this place right now. Now.
Game over.
Especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With future assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children. The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Following the approval of the Whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Minister of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information.
Glad to have you back. There is a congenital heart disease that appears to be plaguing children, and it's prevalent in Nigeria. Its symptoms, presentations, and treatment are challenging in this part of the world. In layman's term, it is called hole in the heart, a mese.
Which includes if the mother has infection, certain types of infection, early in the pregnancy, when the formation of the heart is taking place, like rubella virus, which the mother will have rash and fever in that early period. It is a known cause. Then radiation, like exposure to X-ray, and taking some drugs that can affect organogenesis, development of the organs. It's not all of them that can be preventable. So it's a matter of gene and environment. So those who have severe stenosis with large opening and overriding aorta, they don't survive they don't celebrate their first birthday. But those ones that are moderate may live up to 5 years.
Emeka Michael Okoji falls into this category, having survived with this condition for 3 years. What is more heartwarming is that his parents, Larry, a retired journalist, and Geraldine, are full of hope that he will live life to the fullest.
We've gone from the Federal Medical Center Asaba to the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. From the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, we've gone to the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital. They have confirmed that he has tetralogy of Fallot. The next step ordinarily would be for surgery. But the surgery, my sister, is complicated. We don't have the capacity here, and that's the truth of the matter. We do not have it, and I have it on good authority that I should take my child out overseas for the specialized surgery. I am challenged.
A boy should be allowed to live his dreams. We can make that a possibility. We are closing our book of stories, but not after we take one last break and come back to tell you what next. Stay on the line.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. When someone who is married has relationship with another person of the opposite sex, society usually frowns at it. They say it is a vice that degrades the moral values of any given society, an ill wind that blows no good. What kind of relationship is this? Let's find out in this report.
Infidelity, that is what it is called. Some people prefer to call it cheating. Infidelity is the act of not being faithful to one's spouse or partner by engaging in an adulterous relationship. However, some people say infidelity is an unapproved and secret relationship with the opposite sex, even when it is not adulterous. Here's how these respondents perceive infidelity or cheating.
The opposite sex when you're not married to, not being faithful to your partner, not being faithful, stabbing your loved ones.
They all agree that the act is immoral, which is why such relationship is often kept secret. But Newsline had to ask if any one of them has been cheating on their spouse or has ever done so.
I've cheated, though. To be sincere, actually I did, but I've stopped. Honestly, I have never ever cheated. It's not my thing. I cheat on my girlfriend.
Obviously, these respondents were not caught in the act. But what would it mean for the marriage or relationship when a cheating spouse is found out?
I'll break up. We are going to hide it out.
In reality, however, many people say there's an imbalance in the